Annabelle, a doll feared by many. Whether through the paranormal community or popular culture, most people know of this doll. This was the doll that was given to a nurse as a birthday gift in 1970. Way to go, Mom, with the demon doll. Good job there. It didn't take long for the girl to notice that the doll seemed to move and change positions. She soon found pieces of paper throughout her house with the words "Help Us" written on them. Then the day came when a guy friend who decided to take a nap in her apartment woke up with the feeling of being strangled and the doll staring at him. Not knowing where to turn, the owner of the doll and her roommate went to a psychic who said that the doll was possessed by a 7-year-old little girl named Annabelle, who died on the property before the apartments were even built. Excuse me, Mr. Psychic? It's not normal for a 7-year-old to choke a grown man. I don't get it. The psychic told them that the little girl just wanted to stay with them and to be loved, so this spirit got permission to inhabit the doll. Ed and Lorraine Warren became interested in the case and saw it for what it really was: an inhuman spirit wanting a person, not a doll after all. So they took the doll home and locked her up in the museum. The doll is often blessed, and people are told not to touch. One museum patron touched the glass of Annabelle's box and dared Annabelle to do something. He was dead 2 hours later in a motorcycle crash. Now, was this coincidence? Or was this Annabelle? There has been a surge of interest in the paranormal these past few years, thanks in part to the many ghost hunting shows. One of these shows is Ghost Adventures, a long-running show about a group of guys trying to find evidence of the paranormal. Zach Bagans and his Ghost Adventure crew got the opportunity to investigate Annabelle the doll. Yeah, that's right. Annabelle left her case and visited Zach Bagans in his haunted museum to be investigated by the Ghost Adventure crew. Sounds like a good idea. Tony Spera, the son-in-law to the Warrens, and also the protege, was asked by Lorraine Warren to take the doll to the museum and be Annabelle's travel buddy. Apparently a contract had been made. He came in very serious about the investigation and took all precautions when handling Annabelle. I mean, he knew exactly what everyone was dealing with. Ghost Adventures wanted to enter the investigation from a paranormal investigator's standpoint. They wanted to know the truth. And I can't blame them. It's like going into the place an owner claims is haunted. As an investigator, you want to go in with a balanced mind to see if the evidence proves or disproves a haunting. And you have to take the proper steps in getting real evidence. But these two groups were not on the same page. I can't help but wonder why Spera would even bring Annabelle out like that. I mean, I know there was a contract and Lorraine wanted him to, but why let her out, especially for as long as she's been locked up? Anyway, the investigation happened, and it quickly took a turn for the worse. Oh, how one touch can change everything. Spera quickly packed up Annabelle as Bagans tried to explain that he's being influenced. Even their equipment supported his claim. And honestly, having investigated a lot, I've seen people do some pretty weird things they normally wouldn't do while investigating, which makes touching a haunted doll seem not to be a big issue. But then again, this doll is Annabelle. What do you think about Zach Bagans touching the doll? Please, if you don't mind, leave your comments below. We would love to hear what you think about this. Okay, but Jess, this is just TV. Oh, I know how these shows strive for the juicy stuff, to keep their ratings high. Having worked with a few of these shows, here's what's interesting. Years later, after the risky foot grab, Tony Spera and Zach Bagans still argue over the incident. Ghost Adventures re-aired the show in their latest season, Screaming Room, where they added their commentary during the show and give their insights. Tony Spera responds to this episode of Screaming Room on Facebook. Yay! Facebook! He writes, Ghost Adventures. I wanted to give you my take on the Ghost Adventures episode that aired last night, July 30th, 2020, with a look back at the Annabelle episode. Remember one thing, Zach and his crew are doing the show, Ghost Adventures, for money. They need to seek out high ratings to continue to keep the show on air. They may have started out years ago with good intentions, but now, sadly, they are just performers acting out their parts. I brought the doll to his museum in good faith, and with the very specific understanding that the doll would never be touched by anyone other than yours truly, and that the doll would never leave my sight. That's why I even demanded a first-class plane ticket for Annabelle, who sat next to me in her case on the flight. The one thing Zach left out of his little diatribe about how the young man on the motorcycle didn't ever touch the doll, so why isn't Tony concerned that I'm so close? Well, first, I was concerned that he was getting too close. Second, the young man on the motorcycle challenged Annabelle to do its worst. He said, if that doll can do anything to me, do it to me right now. That was a challenge to the demonic, and the evil within that doll doesn't have to listen to a human. It can do its worst at any time, an hour, a week, a year later, and it did. Zach has no idea what he is doing, not in the paranormal sense anyway. My mistake was believing the producers when they promised that they would show ultimate respect for the doll's evil nature and would be professional in every way. It was a mistake to bring the doll. I will own that. That's why, when the following year they asked me to bring the doll to Zach's museum yet again, I declined. I will never bring the doll to another TV show. The producers and cast of these shows really do not know the dangers associated with Annabelle. I do. Our team at ENESPR are the real professionals. We use the ultimate knowledge and power to fight evil, and that knowledge and power comes from God, our almighty creator, and from the teachings and mentoring of the most knowledgeable humans on earth with respect to the supernatural and preternatural. Ed and Lorraine Warren. Ed had more knowledge of the paranormal in his pinky finger than Zach and his entire crew have. I'm not angry with Zach, but I am concerned for him. By challenging and treating a preternatural realm as sort of a game, a way to make ratings, it's a dangerous thing indeed. Kinda like Russian roulette. Why take that chance? Tony Sparrow. After hearing Tony Sparrow's response to Ghost Adventures Screaming Room and the Annabelle episode, I think that these two different groups come into paranormal investigating from different angles, and obviously these angles clash. Zach himself put up a post on Facebook in response. Yay, Facebook! Once again. Yay. Here is Zach's response to Tony Sparrow's Facebook post. Tony Sparrow, Annabelle's owner. I am fed up with the nasty things this man is saying about myself, my entire crew, and our show. Just FYI, I don't get into social media conflicts often, but I am not a fan of Tony Sparrow, Annabelle's current owner. He said very nasty things about me and my crew after our original episode for no reason, and continues to do so after last night's Screaming Room. If his claims of Annabelle being purely evil or demonic and had the power to cause a guy's fatal motorcycle accident just for talking to her from outside her protected case, then why would he even take her out of her protective sealed case that Ed and Lorraine Warren put a sign on that reads, "Warning, positively do not open." Then cram her into a small plastic briefcase and use oven mitts to carry her around my museum, putting her in a high chair, and let us investigate her. Oh wait. For a large amount of money he was quick to collect after you storm off set. Wonder how Ed and Lorraine would feel about how you took Annabelle out of the case when they said never for a big check. Stop being a hypocrite, Tony. Tony questions and slams our knowledge of the paranormal, but he thinks this doll demon will behave because he's wearing oven mitts to hold her and we are safe if only we don't touch her, but can be inches from her investigating her. I was clearly being affected by something during our investigation with Annabelle, and we documented incredible evidence with Tony watching live, but Tony never cared about any of that or understood that I was being affected. Before Tony took Annabelle out of his briefcase, I wasn't feeling well, so I asked Tony if this could be caused by Annabelle. He told me I was being affected by Annabelle. That's a warning. Annabelle doesn't want us to show her. That's a forerunner. Then when I did subconsciously touch her foot, I explained to Tony I didn't recall doing that, which I didn't. I even apologized. We even captured grab foot on our live EVP device, which is pretty compelling. Remember, he told me Annabelle was affecting me, so why wouldn't he understand that and offer me concern or help in that situation? And as the keeper of that doll, he shouldn't have attacked me, but seemed more sympathetic to the situation and offered to help cleanse me with his holy water. Now remember, Tony told me I was being affected by the forerunner, Annabelle's power, before the investigation even started. But he did nothing. Didn't use his holy water to help, nothing. And is all this hate, negative post, really fueled by me subconsciously touching his doll's foot? Did I damage the doll? No. Does Tony care about my well-being? Beep, no. And yes, I did put in the beep. This was just something he could use to get his money and get back home, which he did in a hurry. He took off his rosary as soon as he was handed his bid check and left it in my museum. Why would he do that? If Annabelle just had this power to affect me before even taking her out of the briefcase, wouldn't Tony want to stay protected as well to this demon-possessed doll that he was using oven mitts to carry? Maybe he has a deal with the devil I don't know about. Tony wrote, I brought the doll to his museum in good faith. Really, Tony? We didn't pay you thousands for this as you demanded? Laughable. Sounds like a quick money grab. Get in and get out. You didn't like us before we even arrived. That was obvious how your nasty attitude was to all of us, off and on camera. Not a nice guy at all. Tony said the young man who died on the motorcycle challenged Annabelle to do its worst. Here's what Tony quoted the man said as the worst. If that doll can do anything, do it to me right now. Hey Tony, as you agreed, let us do this investigation not in good faith, as you wrongly stated, but for thousands. Wouldn't you assume our investigation would also be telling Annabelle to do something for evidence? Wouldn't that also put us in fatal risk? But was the check you collected more important? Tony also demanded first-class air tickets only for he and Annabelle. I'm sure Annabelle would have been extra demonic if she had to fly coach. He demanded a first-class air ticket for a demon. And you want to disrespect my entire Ghost Adventure crew by saying Ed had more knowledge on his pinky than my whole crew does? You were a hater of me and my crew before you even arrived that day to my museum. Everyone stated how bad your condescending attitude was the moment you arrived. And it's not all about the money for us. So says the man who owns the money-making Hollywood doll who demanded first-class airfare and thousands of dollars. This is our life. Interesting to note that Zach said it was Tony Sparrow's agreement to bring Annabelle out to the museum and not Lorraine Warren's like I found in my research. Now, I would take Zach at his word because he was one of the true sources of the agreement. And so apparently this was just between him and Tony Spera, who does own the whole collection of the Warrens at the moment. Another thing that I really like about what Zach posted is his defense of his crew. He didn't take offense of himself. I think he was more offended at the belittlement of his crew, and that speaks to me as being a leader of a paranormal team, as leading volunteers for a paranormal location once upon a time, all that, being a leader and how he cares about his crew. And that, I get that, I understand that, I can relate to that personally, and I thought that was really cool. But yeah, we could say Zach was pretty angry, but what is the real truth? What really happened during this investigation? And honestly, it's hard to say. It looks like a business deal gone terribly wrong that could lead to people or dolls being discredited. Perhaps it's the mixture of the different angles of investigating mixed in with personality conflicts that resulted in this public fight. Fortunately, things seem to simmer down for the two, as nothing else has been posted on the topic. The scary thought is that it could be Annabelle who's waiting on just the right moment to have the last say. What has been another interesting development in the whole universe that is Annabelle. There recently has been rumors started on Twitter that spread like wildfire that Annabelle herself, Annabelle the doll, escaped her cage in Connecticut. It was now roaming free. Because why not? After all, it's 2020. Let's take a look at some of these funny tweets about Annabelle's escape. The real Annabelle doll just escaped from the Warrens Museum. That's it. 2020 is over. Me. How worse can 2020 get? 2020. Annabelle escapes the museum. Me.
Run.
No way Annabelle escaped. When y'all said 2020 was going to be a movie, y'all didn't say it was going to be a horror. Everyone, 2020 can't get any worse. Annabelle in the Warren Museum. Right. I'm just going to head on out now. But everybody relax. Y'all can sit down. Put away all your demon fighting tools or whatever it is you have. It has been debunked. Tony Spera himself has come out and said that Annabelle has not escaped, that she is where she needs to be. I want to read you his statement. Annabelle did not escape. Annabelle's alive. Well, I shouldn't say alive. Annabelle's here in all her infamous glory. So, what do you think? Do you think Zach was wrong in touching her foot? Do you think he was influenced? Do you think that it's ridiculous that they're fighting over this? Do you think Tony Spera should have been more considerate to Zach and what he was going through? Do you think Annabelle could even escape her cage and roam free? Tell us all your thoughts below in the comments. We would love to hear them. And, if you can, subscribe to our channel, like this video, please. We're up and running. We're trying to grow. So if you can, subscribe, like, share, do all that for us, please. We would greatly appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this video. And now, I will see you next time in our next spooky video.